Yes. What's happening, everybody? It's Friday afternoon. We had the weigh-ins earlier today. Looks like everybody's good to go. All 12 fights still on for UFC Vegas 76. That's going to be headlined by Sean Strickland versus Abus Magomedov. Really fun card. It's a fun card from a gambling perspective. I'm about as invested in this card as I am most others. You know, definitely didn't go overboard. I've got a few spots that I like. Might even add a couple little sprinkles here before the end of the day tomorrow, before we get these fights started. But as of right now, let's figure out the Greasy 4-leg parlay for this week. Right now, I think that this thing is cashing in at plus 807 on DraftKings, but it's also plus 837 on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. So I'm going to build both of these parlays right now on both of those sites so that you can see how to do it. And if you have FanDuel, you can get a much better line than you can on DraftKings right now. So I would encourage you to go there and do it. But as always, check all of your books. Try every bet on all of your books and always try to get the best price. Because if we're going to try to be long-term winners, price matters. The price that we pay for these lines always matters. So we want to make sure that we're always getting the cheapest price. And that's why I always try to shop my lines around to wherever I can get the best price. If you want to support me in my work, the best place to do it is the Patreon, patreon.com/UncleWeezy. Fantastic statistics that you see in all the shows that we do every week, whether it's Stat Diggers on Pub Sports Radio, whether it's Probability on the MMA Engine, whether it's Just the Tip with Uncle Weezy on my YouTube channel where you are right now. The best place to obtain all of the stats that you see in those videos is on the Patreon. Fantastic, cheap prices, and a great way to support your Uncle Weezy and the work that I do. But let's get into building this parlay. Very first leg that we're going to go to. And this is not something that I almost ever do. When there's a line that's juiced to the tits, like Joe Anderson Brito at minus 1,200 or wherever he is, it's something that I almost never will. I try to just pull my money away from the fight in its entirety because the line is too juiced. But this, I just don't see how Brito doesn't get this dude out of there in round one. And since it's a 4-leg parlay and it's about cashing all 4 legs, you know, the price is as important as the stylistic read. And I was going to give you guys the under 1.5 rounds at minus 280. But frankly, you know, this guy Brito is very, very dangerous. And there's really nothing that Weston Wilson can do to take this fights to places where Joe Anderson won't be dangerous. He's a dangerous grappler. He's dangerous in the clinch, and he's dangerous at distance because he's out there winging bombs. I just don't see how Weston Wilson gets out of the first round here. So I want to cash this first leg. It's going to be Joe Anderson Brito to win in round 1 at minus 225 right now on FanDuel Sportsbook. So let me share my screen with you guys here. And this is DraftKings Sportsbook. If we want to get Joe Anderson Brito round 1, we've got to go up here to round props. We click there. And then we're going to just click down here. Joe Anderson Brito round 1 minus 225 on DraftKings Sportsbook. And if we go over here to FanDuel Sportsbook, we can come back here to the fights, and we're on UFC fights over here. And let's see, we're going to get Brito. It's round betting. Joe Anderson Brito to win in round 1 is minus 220. Leg 2 of this Greasy 4-leg parlay this week is going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. I'm predicting Bruno Ferreira to shave the ass of Nursultan Ruziboyev inside the distance, minus 190. If you want to play it a little bit safer, you can just go with the money line as well. But, I mean, this guy Hulk has finished everybody that he's ever faced under 1.5 rounds. He's going to be a lot more powerful on the feet, and I think that he's probably the better submission grappler too. I mean, Ruziboyev has got a ton of submissions on his record, and you see him submitting dudes on the regular, but the level of competition that he's facing is flat out, horrible. I've heard people say that some of the fights that he's winning look like works. And when I went back and I watched them, I could see how people could come to that conclusion. This guy's fighting very, very low-level opposition, and Bruno Hulky Ferreira just came in here and knocked Gregory Rodriguez into the land of wind and ghosts. He was banished there. So I really am high on Ferreira. The guy's Brazilian jiu-jitsu is very, very good as well. So I just believe that if this fight does go to the ground, it'll go there because Ferreira wants it there. He's going to be the better wrestler. He's going to be the one that dictates where this fight takes place. And wherever it does take place, I believe that he's going to be a lot more dangerous and the much better finisher. So Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, Bruno Ferreira to win inside the distance. So if we're on FanDuel, we're going to go to the Ferreira Ruziboyev fight where you can get him at minus 225 right now for the money line, which probably we should actually change this to here. As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's adjust this and we'll just do the money line. We won't get too greedy here, just in case, because Ruziboyev hasn't been finished a lot. So it's not, oh yeah, here, wait, hide that again. And Bruno Ferreira money line. We'll just do that. Okay. And we're going to show that. So Bruno Ferreira money line at minus 225. It'll take a little bit of juice off of this parlay, but that's okay. It's just, we want to cash this thing. It's always about cashing it at the end of the day. And I really believe that Brito gets the job done in round one, probably 2 minutes in, and that Ferreira is gonna win this fight very cleanly. I think this is a huge, huge step up in competition against a very dangerous opponent on short notice for Ruziboyev here. So Bruno Ferreira, I think, is going to absolutely shave his ass. And that is minus 225 for the money line there. And over here on DraftKings, if we go to fight lines, we can find that Bruno Ferreira money line at minus 225 as well. That brings us up to plus 108 on DraftKings, and it brings us up to plus 110 on FanDuel Sportsbook. Leg 3 is going to be Rinat Fakhretdinov to win by decision at plus 160. So a lot of unanswered questions right now about Kevin Lee. The most pressing for me isn't the injuries or whether he's on the decline as an athlete, which I don't think he necessarily is. The injuries are very important. It's how does Kevin Lee's wrestling translate now that he's moving from 155 up to 170? Is he going to be able to wrestle as effectively as he did when he was a huge lightweight? And we saw in the Daniel Rodriguez fight that the case was that he wasn't able to wrestle after round one. And if he's unable to do that, we do know what Fakhretdinov can do on the ground. This guy, he's obtained over 90% control time in his fights in the UFC thus far. Let me bring these stats up here for you guys. You see right here in these numbers, 90% control time for, right there. 2.17% control time allowed. He's winning 97.66% of the control time positions that he's been in thus far. And but Lee wins 85. But like I say, most of that is at lightweight, not at, Fakhretdinov fought most of his career at middleweight and then moved down to welterweight. So he's a very big welterweight. He's going to be the much bigger dude. And I really believe that his ability to be able to push a wrestling heavy pace for 3 full rounds here is going to be very important. So it's a big plus money number. I have a tracked bet on Fakhretdinov to win by decision at plus 165 for 1 unit. If Rinat Fakhretdinov is not finishing Andreas Mihalidis, he's not finishing Kevin Lee. So I feel like instead of paying minus 200 for Rinat Fakhretdinov's money line, we get a much better implied probability over here at about 38% implied probability instead of 66% for what is Rinat's best win condition here, which is winning a wrestling match over 3 rounds. And I think Rinat by decision at plus 160 is a really fat number. It's a great bet on its own, but that is what's going to fatten up this parlay and give us a nice plus money number here. So let's click back here on FanDuel, and we're going to go to the more wagers here for Lee Fakhretdinov. And we're going to go to method of victory here. And we're going to go Rinat Fakhretdinov to win by points at plus 160. And then we're going to do the same thing here on DraftKings. Winning method up here. And Fakhretdinov by points It's plus 150 on DraftKings Sportsbook. So it's plus 421 right now on DraftKings. And we're plus 446 over here on FanDuel. And then the last leg, the fourth leg, so that we can hedge out, is a decently juiced line here. And it is the main event of the evening. Sean Strickland over Abus Magomedov. Strickland is a big step up in competition for Abus. I do think strength of schedule matters. I do think that this fight probably finishes under 4 rounds. I'm thinking 3.5. I have a bet on the under 3.5 at plus 120. But I like Strickland here. He's durable. He's got a great pace that he puts on. Abus is a very long middleweight. And when you are at a reach disadvantage, the best thing that you can do most of the time is walk your opponent down, close the distance, crowd the kicker. And that's what Sean does. He already does that. We've never seen Abus Magomedov outside of a third round in his entire pro career. He's had 5 fights that were scheduled for 5 rounds. All 5 of them finished in the first round. A couple of them were losses, a couple of them were wins. But this guy really doesn't know how to win a 5-round fight. We've never seen him push that kind of a pace. We've never seen him in a 4th round in his entire career. Sean Strickland gets out of bed a week before a fight with Nasruddin Imavov, takes it on short notice, and goes a full 5 rounds and beats a guy in Imavov who's a very similar archetype of fighter to Abus Magomedov. And it was the pressure, and it was the volume, and it was the boxing that did it. He crowded the kicker. He closed the distance. He made him move backwards, and he wore him out. And it was a very similar situation because we had never seen Imavov in a 5-round fight either. So we saw Sean Strickland do what he does so well, which is use that pressure, that pace, and that volume, and that superior boxing to wear his opponents down over a long fight. And since we've never seen Magomedov in a 4th round in his career, I think it's reasonable even to suggest that Strickland might finish this guy. And I am betting the under 3.5 rounds, and I feel like a great 4th leg to get out of this is minus 164, Strickland money line. And then if we've cashed the first 3 legs, we can put a bet on Abus Magomedov at plus 140 and, lock in a profit here. But Sean Strickland money line is going to be the last leg of this parlay. And we're going to put it at minus 164, brings it up to plus 779 on DraftKings Sportsbook. And the Strickland money line under fight lines here has moved to minus 150. So it's plus 769 right now on DraftKings. 769 on DraftKings, 779 on FanDuel. So let's cash it right now. Now this banner here shows the Bruno Ferreira inside the distance numbers. So if you want to get a little bit of extra oomph on this parlay, you can do Bruno Ferreira inside the distance. I feel it's just, if we're trying to cash this thing, I'd rather cash a plus 779 than not cash a plus 807. So let's get it, you guys. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I appreciate everybody here that's joining me. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any of the great content here on this channel. And consider joining the Patreon. And please leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your best 4-legger is for this week. We got Dixon in the room saying it's time for the Kazakh Casanova. One Damir Ismagulov, always winking to his hoes in the audience. Let's get Greasy Prophet Weezy as my guy Dixon. Let's get it this week. Good luck to you, brother. Let's stack them high. And we got Jeremy Renninger in the room saying, "Oi!" What's up, Jeremy? We got Dave Bandit saying, "What's got 4 legs?" And it's greasy as fuck. Ticket that is stacked like a flapjack, says my guy Dave. Always helping us out in the Discord, one of the longest standing members of the Patreon. Appreciate you, Dave. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, brother. Let's cash this parlay. We got Snerius is in the room saying, "Oh, what's up, dude?" We got 4 Anks saying, "What up, Weezy? What's up, dude? It's good to have you hanging out here with us." And he's saying, "Oi!" And we got TH saying, "Oi, this is our week, Unc. We got to get the bounce back week. Last week was nuts. So let's get the bounce back this week. And I mean, Brito round one, Ferreira's money line, Fakhretdinov by points, Strickland money line, plus 779 on FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's cash it, TH. Brandon Stelly in the room saying, oi! And we got Four Anks in the room saying my bookie has Brito round one at minus 143. That's so much better, dude. So much better of a number. You get so much more juice on this parlay because I think the difference between minus 143 and minus 220 in implied probability will be about 7%. So that's going to be a big edge for you. I wish I could find Brito round one at minus 143. That's a fantastic line. I'd bet that. My guy DFS by the numbers just finished up his Friday live stream saying, oi, what's up, Brady? Good to see you in here. Happy 25th birthday earlier this week to Brady. He's getting up there, man. Hi, Brady says, Four Ranks up, man. This is a great round one line for Brito. Yeah, that's for sure, man. Dude, get on that line, even just straight. Because Brito's going to fold this dude like a lawn chair, and it's going to be early. And we got Addicted to Combat in the room. My guy Patrick did a show with him earlier this week on his channel saying, what up, Unc? Let's cash some grease. Let's get it, my man. We got Sean Strickland's burner in the room saying, what's good, Weezy? Sean Strickland always here hanging out on his burner account, though. He's always doing it a little bit incognito. And he's saying, watch all of your vids before I make my bets. Let's go. Let's get it, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us. I appreciate you supporting the channel by coming here and watching the videos, man. Victor De Jesus is in the room saying, what's up, Weezy in chat? Let's stack them like flapjacks. What's up, Victor? Thank you for hanging out, brother. And ring a ding ding. Brandon Stelly with the $4.99 donation saying Fatty Pimblett making his heavyweight debut. Oh, wait. That's just Romanov. The hype video lied to us. Yeah, man. 264 for Romanov. 264 pounds was where he weighed in. It's a little bit alarming, because you have to wonder, can he wrestle, for 3 rounds when he's carrying 30 extra pounds of what it could either be some muscle and some fat, all fat potentially? It's hard to know. But maybe he's bulking up a little bit, but then it's just, that's just more blood for the heart to pump to that muscle when you're working hard and you're wrestling. So who knows, man? I've got the finish only prop for Blagoy Ivanov, 2.5 units at plus 200. Got it early in the week when it first dropped on Bet Online. I'm gonna count on that durability of Blagoy and hope that Fatty Romanov winds up gassing out late. If he tries to wrestle early and doesn't get Blagoy out of there, I could see a late finish by Blagoy. But I'm also worried about that bet because Romanov, you're not knocking out Ivanov on the feet. The guy's got a brick for a head. But if you take him down and mount him and get on top of him, doesn't matter how durable you are, the ref will just pull you off of him, if you're not defending yourself well. So that's my worry, is that Romanov is able to get a ground and pound finish or a submission finish if he gets Blagoy's back to the mat. And, we did see, Volkov, grab the cage in that last fight, and that saved the takedown. So that was rough. But either way, Brandon, thank you so much for the donation, man. Appreciate you helping and keeping the lights on here in your Uncle Weezy studio. We got Olajuwon Dream in the room saying, Greasy. Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys says Olajuwon. What's up, dude? Thank you for hanging out in here. I'm always seeing you hanging out on our shows on Pub Sports Radio. Welcome to the channel, brother. Thanks for hanging out. Adam Rush saying, oi. What's up, Adam? We got Smoke Stack saying, is Strickland the lock of the week? No, the ass shaving of the week this week is going to be Bruno Ferreira to shave the ass of Nursultan Ruzaboyev. It would be Brito, but he's minus 1,200. You don't need me to tell you to be confident on Brito this week. We got Divine 2 saying, hey, Weezy, what do you say of Lipsky? I'm picking Gato to win this fight. I think that Lipsky's gotten a lot better. I think she's getting the individual attention she needs working with Amanda Nunes one-on-one right now at Linus Studios, and she's going to be taking the next step because of that. Good training partners, good training makes a better fighter. And Ariane Lipsky's still young. She's still only 29 years old. So we can still continue to see improvements from Ariane. But from what I've seen from her on the ground, I really have to favor Gatto in this spot, and I like Gatto's striking. I think Gatto's just getting better and better and better as well, and she's only 27. 1 year layoff for Melissa Gatto. I'm wondering if there was an injury behind that or if there was some other reason, but yeah, I don't have any action on that fight, Divine 2. But the plus money on Lipsky is a little bit intriguing, but I'm definitely picking Gatto to win that fight. I think she's a lot more dangerous if the fight goes to the ground. Silky B saying, keeping it greasy with Weezy. What's up, Silky? Good to see you hanging out in here, brother. We got Olajuwon Dreams saying I had to sprinkle round 3 Blagoy at plus 1,800. Nothing wrong with that, man. Especially if, Blagoy just doesn't do much. He hasn't finished anybody at the UFC level either, but nobody's finished him either as well. So it's going to be an interesting fight. We'll see how Blagoy, if he can weather that early storm, because Romanov is, fat or not, he takes you down early in the fight, you're in trouble because he's really heavy on top. He's got great ground and pound and great control. So it'll be interesting to see how that fight plays out. Smokesmack saying, didn't one of the fighters get stabbed a few years ago? Yeah, that was Ivanov. He got stabbed in the heart, actually. He got stabbed multiple times outside of a nightclub in Sofia, Bulgaria, and got jumped, stabbed multiple times. One of them perforated his heart. He had surgery. They said he would never fight again, and here he is. So, the dude his toughness is legendary. Yeah, that was Blagoy in 09. You got that right, man. Brandon Stelly says he has the scar in the middle of his chest. You'll see. That's right. Olajuwon Dreams saying, hell yeah, first I've been able to catch your channel. I appreciate you for hanging out, man. It's good to have you here. Victor saying, I've watched the first 30 minutes of weigh-in. Carol Los looked like absolute shit. I'm considering putting a degenerate bet on Santos. Looks like she doesn't want to be there. Yeah, she took it on short notice too, Vic. It was supposed to be Santos against somebody else at 135. So what happened was Hosa is fighting at 145 now. So Hosa said, I'll take it at 145 so that now Yana doesn't even have to cut the weight. So she was training for a fight anyway. And now she got that gift of not having to worry about putting in that weight cut, doing that extra work. So yeah, plus money side on Santos. It's interesting, I don't have any action on this fight either. But the plus money numbers in women's MMA are always better bets over the long term. Olajuwon Dreams saying you'll have to look up the sound bit of Bubbles saying Greasy if you've ever seen. Oh, I've seen the show before. I've definitely seen it before. And Olajuwon saying appreciate all the work you and the guys do. I appreciate you for hanging out, man. I appreciate you for being an MMA fan and watching us on Pub Sports Radio right here on the MMA Engine. It's good to have you here, brother. And we got Christian Jenkins in the room saying, Uncle Weezy, I'm in the airport now I'm on my way to the Windy City to visit my dad's side of the family. You got any prize picks plays this week? Last week slipped green. Thanks for the help as always. So I was looking at the Guram Kutateladze fantasy score is very high at 104.5. I was thinking maybe go under there. Let me see. I kind of like that Strickland over on fantasy points. And then for fight time and minutes, I actually like Joe Anderson Brito under 4 minutes. Ferreira under 5 minutes is not bad, in my opinion. The Fakhretdinov. Do we have a Fakhretdinov takedown number? No, they didn't want to hang one. It's interesting. What does significant strikes have for us here? 25 and a half. I don't like a lot of this. Maybe Ivan Petrov. No, I don't like that. I don't like these significant strike numbers. So I would say Joe Anderson Brito, less than 4 minutes. Because Romanov looked fat, I don't think he's gonna finish Blagoy, so I think that probably goes over 12.5 minutes. Elvis Brenner's never been finished. Huh. And the takedowns, I just don't like anything with the takedowns here. I could see Brito getting less than 1.5 takedowns. Fantasy score. I think Bonfim maybe gets 106 points. Demir, it's going to be hard for him to score points, man, because Grant Dawson's just going to be on his back the entire fight. Let's go Demir Ismagulov, less than 68, 9.5 fantasy points, because he's not a big scorer to begin with. And he's not a finisher either. Let's go Fakhretdinov, more than 14.75 fight minutes. And let's go Guram, more than 12.5 fight minutes. $20 to win $200. Let's place that entry. Have some fun. Appreciate you, Christian, for hanging out. That's the prize picks play for this week. It's going to be Joe Anderson Brito, less than 4 minutes of fight time. Demir Ismagulov, less than 69.5 fantasy score. Renat Fakhretdinov, more than 14.75 fight minutes. And Guram Kutateladze, more than 12.5 fight minutes. $20 to win 200, 10-1 shot. Let's go. Victor De Jesus saying, True Baquero Rosa looked way better which fight, which was also at 145. Yeah, I did not like her today. Yeah, man, it's going to be an interesting one. I have no action on it. Played Strickland money line, hedged it with Abu's round 1 KO and Abu's split majority decision plus 1,200 LOL. There you go, man. There you go. Well, I appreciate you guys. 35 of you here hanging out. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. My guy Luke is in the room. What's up, Luke? He's saying, what's up, Weezy? Good to see you hanging out in here, man. Good luck to you this week. Hopefully we stack them high, put a lot of butter and syrup on this shit and eat these flapjacks right in front of the faces of the bookies that are crying due to all the bets that we're cashing here. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys hanging out here. God bless each and every one of you. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 76 and the Greasy 4-leg parlay is Joe Anderson Brito to win in round 1. Bruno Ferreira money line. That's Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Renat Fakhretdinov by points and the Sean Strickland money line. Good luck to each and every one of you. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe. Consider joining the Patreon and leave me a comment down below. And have a great week watching the fights. Good night, everyone. And Genova7 says, respect Weezy. Appreciate you, Genova. Thanks for hanging out in here, my man. Talk to you guys later. I'm going to go have some food.